Okay, welcome to Zen meditation, Zen Buddhism and meditation. My name is Mark, and I'm going to be leading tonight. Anyone new to Dharma Bum Temple? Welcome, welcome. Anyone new to Zen meditation? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Wow, okay. And then welcome to everyone on all one person online. So feel free to say hi, or if you have any comments or questions, feel free to put that in the chat, and I'll try to pay attention to the chat. Try to be mindful. Partisan, part of. Uh, so. Okay, so let's see. This 1 hour, and typically, I'll give like a maybe 5-10 minute explanation on this specific type of meditation, and then we'll meditate for 20 minutes in silence, and then I'll keep track of the time so you guys don't have to look at your watches or anything. Then I'll ring the bell to start the meditation and to end the meditation. And then we'll have, I don't know, we'll see a discussion, and we'll see like how long, depending on how many comments. I might read a page or two from this new book, Becoming Yourself, by Shunryu Suzuki, Teachings on the Zen Way of Life. He's the founder of the San Francisco Zen Center. So for Zen meditation, so it's silent. So I'm not going to be speaking. It's not a guided meditation. So that's a little different than other types of meditations. So, what do you do for 20 minutes when there's nobody talking, right? It can be a little tricky. So, what to do with your thoughts? There's one of the main suggestions is to focus on your breath. Okay, focus on your in breath and your out breath. Just be aware of your breathing. Some people count on their out breath. So 1 up to like 10, and then just keep repeating 1 to 10. If you lose track of what number you're on, just start back at 1. And yeah, so that can help. Otherwise, just being aware that you're going to have thoughts, and that doesn't mean that you're a bad meditator, or you can't do this. So just practice being aware of that you're present here in this room, and that you're going to have thoughts. Thoughts are going to come up. Try your best to, think of your thoughts as clouds in the sky, just passing by. Thanks for visiting. Not attaching to whatever the story is. So when you catch yourself thinking about, your personal situation at home or work or wherever, just be aware of that and say, okay, right now I'm just present here, and you can deal with whatever else is going on in your life afterward. But for now, you're just simply being present in the moment, and breathing, and you'll hear noises. You might hear honks or sirens or airplanes, helicopters, birds, or people talking. Um, so let's see. So that's so your thinking is like that's a challenging thing, but just try to be gentle with yourself. Really, not to beat yourself up over thinking. If you catch yourself daydreaming, just come back to the present. So the next thing would be, I kind of talked about breathing. And so thinking, breathing, just notice your in breath and your out breath. Some Zen practitioners really encourage people to take a deep in breath and a complete full out breath. But I've also heard other teachers say just breathe normal. Don't try to like force your breathing any certain way. So posture is very important. So having an upright posture, and straight back, not too like rigid, but just an upright position, not slouching. It's good to have maybe both of your feet on, if you're in a chair and your feet can touch the ground. If not, you can borrow a cushion, have your feet on the cushion. Your upright posture, and it's just about, that's all just about keeping yourself alert and present so that you're not falling asleep. Or the other thing, what to do with your hands. A lot of Buddhist Zen people do this cosmic mudra like that, and just rest in your lap. Otherwise, you can just have your hands in your lap. And let's see what else. Anyhow, I think any questions? I think those are the main things as far as your breathing, thoughts, posture. Anybody have any questions? Just how to do this?
What about movements? Just like
movement. So yeah, movement. If you have to itch, see what it's like to not scratch that itch on your nose. It's really hard because our instinct is just to go itch, scratch whatever itches. So practice being present with that itch. I sit cross-legged, and sometimes my leg will fall asleep, and it's not a crime to so just be mindful if you do need to move, and just if you need to get up and go to the bathroom or whatever, do it quietly and mindfully. Yeah. But did that answer? Yeah. So, anybody? Okay. I always forget, like I'm forgetting some major thing, but that's just my thoughts. Yeah. So anyhow, we'll go ahead, and there's a comment here. Thank you for guiding us to. Oh, thank you. You're welcome. I'm happy to be here. So we'll go ahead. I'll ring the bell and set the timer for 20 minutes. feel free to, now you can move. Feel free to move around. A common practice at a lot of Zen monasteries or Zen centers is to, after sitting zazen, meditating, to move via a walking meditation called kinhin. And some places do it for 5 or 10 minutes. And it just walking around the meditation hall. Either some places do it fast, some do it super slow, like 1 foot down, and then the next foot. So, a form of meditation. And I think, let's see, here they do, we do have Saturday, the first Saturday of the month is like a half day. I haven't been to it, but it's like a half day silent meditation. And there's walking meditation also included in that, on that day. So, is anyone else besides me feeling tired from the time change? Yeah, yeah. Like the last 2 days have just been really sluggish. So, yeah. And it's funny how, like, I was sitting here meditating, I'm like, really feeling it, like just so tired.
Me too.
And then I have these like judgmental thoughts, like, you never used to feel that time change, you're getting old. Stuff like that. Like, okay, thanks for visiting. Mind your own business. Did anyone have comments, questions? How was it? Easy peasy? Or was it torture? I was torturing myself up here because I'm like, I know what you forgot. You didn't talk about the eyes,
Me
what
too.
to do with your eyes. Like,
That's funny.
yeah.
I also
So-
thought about it too. I'm like, oh, he was
What am I
probably
supposed to do
thinking
with
about
my,
the eyes.
keep them open or closed? And traditionally Zen practitioners practice with their eyes open, but just like ever so slightly. Like, I don't know if you can tell my eyes are actually open. You know, they're just sort of like the lids are, it's just like this, I don't know what percentage, 10% open. And my understanding is the idea is that it's to help keep you present, keep you from falling asleep. Because these, you think about Zen monks and nuns who meditate for hours and hours. And I don't know if I've been on a couple of retreats, and yeah, I think like 7-day retreats where you're meditating a lot of the day. And it helped, like, not closing my eyes. Plus, the other thing is people tend to go off into fantasy land or daydream and stuff with your eyes completely closed. That's the other thing. So, but if you feel more comfortable closing your eyes, that's also fine. So, anybody have any questions or anything? Otherwise, I'll
So
read
that
a
nice
little
stuff.
bit from this book, 7:35. So maybe I'll read like 10 minutes and then we'll meditate for another 10 minutes or so after that. So this book is called Becoming Yourself, Teachings on the Zen Way of Life by Shunryu Suzuki, author of Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind. And yeah, he came over from Japan to San Francisco in the, I want to say late 60s or 70s, and to serve the, I believe, the Japanese Zen community in San Francisco. And it turned out that he ended up getting a really big following of hippies. And they, like, all these hippies would come to the San Francisco. I don't know if it was called San Francisco Zen Center at the time, but anyhow, that's my understanding is that, yeah, and that part, one of the big ways that Zen Buddhism became popular in the United States, or at least on the West Coast. So,
I have one question for
Yeah.
Sorry, it just came to me now. So I'm just learning about Buddhism now, and I'm assuming, I don't know, but it all started with the Buddha, right? And then it spread throughout Asia. So Zen Buddhism is just like the version that spread to Japan.
well, yeah, so my understanding is that Zen Buddhism, that Bodhidharma was a monk in India that brought Buddhism to China, and that, so my understanding is that Zen, it was called Chan Buddhism in China, or is called Chan, and that from there it spread to Japan and Korea and Vietnam, Thailand. I'm not sure where else. Yeah.
So was the origin India?
That's a good question. I think the origin of Zen was China. Yeah, but Buddha was Gautama Buddha was from India, like I believe up near Nepal. Yeah. So I'm not a Buddhist historian or Zen historian at all, but yeah, good question though. Yeah, and there's lots to learn. I've been just practicing for about 7 years, and yeah. So okay, I'll read a little bit here. 7:40, but share. This is the first chapter. Sharing the feeling, because we have so much useless rubbish in our mind. It is hard to share our feeling with people, with things, with trees, or with mountains. Even though we are right in the middle of the woods, it is still hard to appreciate the feeling of the woods. When we can really appreciate the feeling of the woods, that's Zazen. Sharing the feeling we have right here, right now, is the fundamental thing for Zen practice. Zen, in a word, to share, Zen is, in a word, to share our feeling with people, with trees, and with mountains, wherever we are. That is Zen practice. So I guess just being aware of your feeling, like I'm feeling sluggish and tired, and hey, I'm practicing Zen. Just being aware of my feeling, sharing my feeling. Usually our mind is filled with something like ice cream or bananas, or how much the soap costs in one store compared to another, or by looking at the newspaper and seeing an ad for a sale. So it is almost impossible to share the actual feeling we have where we are right now. So so true. Our life is going on and on, endlessly filled with rubbish. It is not rubbish at first. At some moment, it is important for you, but it is not necessary to hold on to it past that point. How true. Yeah, I'll see a soap and think how ridiculous, how expensive. And then you go home and you tell, people how expensive soap is. Can you believe it? And that's where the rubbish comes in. Because, or I don't know, like lately, every time I get on the freeway, the car like right ahead of me or a couple of cars ahead goes from this lane way over in the left to the exit, right? And I think, whoa, that's crazy. I'm glad they made it, but that was a little reckless. But the rubbish in my head is I'll be driving and I get to my destination. It's still on my mind. I can't believe these people in San Diego, they drive so crazy. And then I'll tell the store clerk and I'll go home and tell people, I'll tell my neighbors and text people, I get this whole rubbish story going on in my head. So at some moment, it is important for you, but it is not necessary to hold onto it past that point. It is the same with our everyday life. Because we have so much useless rubbish in our mind, it is hard to share our feelings with people, with things, with trees, or with mountains. Even though we are right in the middle of the woods, it is still hard to appreciate the feeling of the woods. When we can really appreciate the feelings of the woods, that is Zazen. Before attaining enlightenment, Buddha practiced under many teachers, studying many things and becoming caught up in various philosophies or religions. When he realized he was caught by this, he lost interest in such things. He got tired of that kind of effort and he gave up everything. Finally, he sat under the Bodhi tree where he attained enlightenment. We say, quote, he attained enlightenment, end quote, but it may be better to say, quote, he completely forgot everything, end quote. He had nothing in his mind at that moment. When he saw the morning star rising up from the east, it was the first thing he saw coming out of his empty mind. That is why he had such joy at the sight of the morning star. In other words, he shared his feeling with the morning star's feeling. It is difficult to analyze whether it was Buddha's feeling or the morning star's feeling. Anyway, he shared his feeling with the morning star. That was his enlightenment. That he was Buddha meant that he was being himself, being completely with everyone and with everything. To be Buddha, it is necessary to give up the various bits of rubbish in the mind. Anyhow, I think that's enough, but anybody have any comments on that or thoughts?
So unattainable.
What's that?
Like, considering this is like my first experience, and I know it's not the case, but it seems so unattainable, like sitting here doing that. I couldn't even get to 10 counting my breaths.
Right.
Yeah. So just to hear that, it's crazy to think about if you could get rid of all the rubbish, right? Like, constantly, like, check yourself. I don't know.
Yeah, right. It's exhausting. Like, God. I mean, on the one hand, our minds are built or designed to create thoughts. Like I've heard it referred to, our mind secretes thoughts like our stomach naturally secretes gastric juices. So, but I don't know. it seems like the thoughts cause a lot more damage than the gastric juices. Like, I don't notice my gastric juices causing as much as dilemmas and, yeah, suffering. Which a big part of Buddhism is that there's suffering exists, that the causes suffering, clinging, craving, attachments, and that there's a way out of suffering by practicing Buddhist Eightfold Path and right speech, right thinking, right action, right livelihood, right meditation, right mindfulness, all that, stuff that the Buddha taught. Yeah, that's why they call it a practice, right? Practice your meditation practice, because it's not like one and done, like keep doing it every day. Yeah. And just when you think you got it, you don't. So, all right, maybe 10 more minutes. Sound good? All right. All right. So, is anybody able to count to 10?
One thing.
A few years ago, I was at a retreat, a 7-day retreat at a Zen center. And they were like, started meditating at 6 in the morning, and there were 40-minute meditations. And there were maybe about 10 of them throughout the day between breakfast and lunches and dinners and work. We had a break, couple-hour break. But during one of the 40-minute meditations, I was keeping track in my head of how many times I was able to count to 10 breaths. So, and I did 45. And I told my teacher, and he was like, well, I don't think that's necessary. Because that's kind of like clinging to, I was like, I was so obsessed with how many times I could count to 10. So I only did that once, but anyhow. So I will read before Meredith. Do you want to come on up? But I'm gonna read the a closing dedication that is often recited in Zen centers, and it's called the 4 Bodhisattva vows, and it goes: beings are numberless. I vow to save them. Delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to end them. Dharma gates are boundless. I vow to enter them. The Buddha's way is unsurpassable. I vow to become it. So thank you all for being here. Have a good night. And Meredith has a couple closing announcements.
Hi, everybody. I'm tonight's host, Meredith. We opened the Dharma Bum Temple 18 years ago to introduce those who show up to Buddhist practice. Those who lead are not nuns, monks, gurus, masters, or teachers, and are not looking for students. They're simply practitioners sharing their interpretation of the practice. Every night we have different classes led by different people from various Buddhist traditions. We have a recovery sangha that meets several times a week for anyone with addiction, and our food redistribution program is every Thursday at 4:30 p.m. We have classes and programs every day, and everything we offer here is always free. The full schedule is on the website and also posted in the entryway above the shoe rack. We have a lending library. If you see a book you like, just feel free to borrow it and bring it back whenever you're done. If you could please straighten your seat or cushion before you head out, maybe lock a window or two, that'd be great. Thank you for being here. We wish you well. We hope to see you again soon.
And thanks to everybody online, and have a good evening. Bye-bye. Let's see here. End stream.
Yep. Stream.